Now, readers who have followed me for a long time in my Kumekucha blog will have to excuse me because they've already had this story, this amazing story. Yeah. Now, during the 1987 elections, I went to vote in my rural home. And as I went into the polling station, as I was marking the ballot paper, I noticed some two gentlemen standing at a very strategic position within the polling station, and they were very interested in what I was marking. Okay? You know, you sit in a corner, you know that if you mark the top name, that is President Moi. If you mark around the middle, that is somebody else. If you mark at the end, that is Charity Ngilo or whatever. Yeah? There were two gentlemen seated there. Now, because I've been brought up by policemen, I was able to immediately recognize who those people were. Okay? They were special branch officers at that time, intelligence officers. Okay? Now, why would they be interested in what everybody was marking at a polling station? Actually, during the Moi days, what used to happen is that these officers were put right across all polling stations. Well, in those days, there were not that many, but they were put in all polling stations, and they were able to bring a report back so that the tallying center in those days would be able to get a pretty good idea of what the votes went like in each particular polling station, in each particular constituency. Now, why were they doing that? The reason why they were doing that was so that they would know how the people voted, they would confirm for sure the people voted, and then they would be able to adjust the election results accordingly. Okay? That was during the Moi days. Everybody knows there was rigging during those days, and everybody knows what used to happen in those particular elections. The intelligence community played a major role in those elections. We'll have a very explosive revelation to give you in case you didn't know. Since those days of Moi up to today, there's no evidence that the intelligence community have left the election process. In fact, if you've been listening to my recent recording, there's a plenty of evidence, but there's the latest, very recent case where there's definitely interference in the election process by the intelligence community. Now, of course, these people, their work, they're mandated to look after us. Security of the state is very important. They're mandated to make sure that Kenya is safe for the citizens, blah, 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 blah. Yeah? They have, you know, their work is spelled out in the Constitution, and therefore these people are doing their work. However, the big question here is it right for them to interfere with the will of the people? Okay? Now, the excuse they'd give you is that they have more information than you and me, and therefore they are guarding and protecting the people by ensuring the election goes in a certain way. That's the argument, and that's the way it goes. Okay? So, coming back to our main point, this is the whole issue about the tallying center, because it's okay, you can beat about the bush and go round and round and round, but I believe always in hitting the nail on the head. This is where the issue is with the tallying centers. Because when a party has a tallying center, it means that even if somebody tries to adjust the results at the polling station, the party has their person there. It will be difficult to do that. Okay? And if somebody tries to adjust the results in the final tallying stage, it will be very difficult, because the party also has people on the ground at the tallying stage. They're working, they're receiving, they're just like another IEBC, yeah? Except that their results are not official. They're tallying those results, they're tabulating them, they're adding, they're doing that from each polling station. And that is the issue with tallying centers. Okay? So, the real people who are being fought in this tallying center, the real party that is very concerned about the tallying center, let me just make that revelation to you here, is not the IEBC. It is actually the intelligence community. Now, I know a lot of you will not understand this recording. I know a lot of you will write off this recording. I know the intelligence boys themselves will leave silly comments, because they're well trained in this, to show how stupid and ridiculous my suggestion is. But ladies and gentlemen of this channel who expect the truth from me, and I take that responsibility very seriously, that is the truth. Okay, and that is the reason why NASA came up with this idea of going for tallying centers. However, having said all that, as I had indicated earlier on, I do not support the idea of these parties having tallying centers that are so well publicized, that voters are told about, because it's okay. Every party should have its own machinery so you can quietly tally your votes around the, elsewhere. But when you publicize them, and everybody knows you have a tallying center, and it becomes a whole issue, it's all over the newspapers and everywhere. When the results are announced, if a particular party's tallying center has results that are different from the IBC, that will not be good for the country. And that's the truth. And I don't care whether it's NASA, I don't care whether it's Jubilee, that will be a problem for us as a country. That is the point about these tallying centers. It is very sad we have come from a history of fiddling with elections. It's very sad that we have a background, a past where elections have always been interfered with. But to put the country at ransom, to put us in a position now whereby we'll be at the mercy, we'll have to, there'll be tension about so many other things. But now we have the additional tension of, yes, we're waiting for the results from the IBC. But now, for those who understand politics, and for those, because this channel is supposed to be for thinkers, and for those who are thinkers, like me and you who are always tuning in to this channel, there'll also be the added worry of, will Party A results in their tallying match with the IBC? Will Party B match with the IBC? There's so much more to worry about in this forthcoming polls. That's the point I wanted to get across. Till next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.